In this video, we're going to be building the ultimate AI receptionist for restaurants. This AI receptionist is able to check reservations on a restaurant's calendar, book appointments, and then it'll even go ahead and take delivery and pick up orders. And not only that, this agent is able to also transfer to human management, and then it's also able to retrieve any custom menu prices, such as the opening hours, any dishes on the menu, and answer any questions that the customer may have about the menu as well. And by the end of this video, you have a completely free AI voice agent and receptionist template in which you can just go ahead and download all the templates, workflows, prompts, everything completely for free. If you don't already know me, my name is Ashton. I've been helping business owners implement AI systems to save time, cut costs, and drive growth. Without further ado, let's jump into a demo where you can see a demo of this system, and then we'll jump directly into building this out completely from scratch.
Hello, this is Rachel from TimeStaps. How may I help you?
Hey, how you going, Rachel? Look, I'd just like to book a reservation for tomorrow for 3 people at 5 p.m. Do you have any availability?
Let me quickly check if we have a table available for 3 people at 5 p.m. tomorrow. We do have availability for 3 people at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Can I please have your name and email to finalize the booking? Also, do you have any special requests for your reservation?
Yeah, sure. My name is Ashton Voss, and then my email is ashton123@gmail.com, and then it is my sibling's birthday. So yeah.
Your reservation for 3 people at 5 p.m. tomorrow is all set, Ashton. I've noted that it's your sibling's birthday, so we'll make it extra special. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Yeah, actually, I just want to place a delivery order as well, please. Could you please do that?
Of course. Would you like your delivery order to go to the same address as your reservation, or is it a different address? And what would you like to order today?
Yeah, so it'd just be 1 pad thai and 1 spring roll, and then the address would be 123 Main Drive.
Just to confirm, your delivery order is 1 pad thai and 1 spring roll, and the address is 123 Main Drive. Is that correct? If so, could you please confirm your email for the delivery order as well?
Yeah, it's ashtonvoss47@gmail.com.
Thank you, Ashton. So your delivery order is 1 pad thai and 1 spring roll to be delivered to 123 Main Drive, and your email is ashtonvoss47@gmail.com. Is everything correct, or would you like to add anything else before I place your order?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
Your delivery order has been placed and will be on.
Awesome. And then we can see I've just got a SMS right here. So we can see that I've got both that email and SMS that has just been triggered on my phone right there. So okay, now that you've seen a demo of the voice agent and you've seen how it works in real time, let's dive into this quick overview on what is actually going to be happening and all the scenarios for our voice AI agent for this restaurant. So essentially, this is just a quick Figma file that I've mapped out and just really shows a quick overview of the voice agent. Once you understand this, we can then get into building it. It'll just make it a lot easier to actually build as well. So let's go into a quick overview. So first of all, this agent starts when a customer calls the phone, obviously. It's then going to say this first dynamic message, which is, this is Rachel from Thai Fusion. And then from there, it's either going to go down one of these 5 conversational paths. The first one here is a delivery order. So if it is a delivery order, it'll collect the order and confirm it with the customer, ask the customer for their name, delivery address, run the delivery function, which is to book a, which is to essentially process a delivery order, and then it'll send an internal notification to the team and the call, right? Very similar for pickup order, but all that it's doing is it's just asking for the order and the name, and it doesn't need the delivery address. So very similar. And then from here, we have the book reservation. So again, it's going to ask for the number of people, what time they would like to come in, and then it's also going to run the check availability function to check for slots for the requested time. And then from there, once it has confirmed that time, it's going to ask for their name, email, and any special requests, just letting them know, to book the appointment, right? Once it's collected that, it's then going to book the appointment and then end the call, right? And then the final 2 conversational pathways here is a call transfer to a manager or another receptionist. This is very important when we're working with restaurants because if the voice AI agent, if someone's calling up about an issue, about a food, maybe the agent needs to transfer for an urgent matter, we need to attach another staff's number or a manager's number to transfer to that static number, right? And then from there, the final conversational pathway is it will ask any questions about the menu or the opening hours, which will then refer to a knowledge base and it's just going to answer back to that customer asking the question. So that's just a quick overview of the voice agent. And it's really important to understand how the voice agent works. What is all the conversational pathways that is happening in the voice agent before we move on to creating it. So now that you've got that down pat, let's go into ElevenLabs, which is going to be the platform we're going to be building. Okay, so the first thing you want to do in order to get started to creating our voice AI agent using ElevenLabs is we want to create a new agent inside that conversational AI platform. Now, what we want to do here is we want to go over to either log in or sign up. I'm not sure why it's loading right there. As you can see, log in or sign up. Obviously, sign up if you don't already have an account. Log in if you already have an account, right? Go ahead and click log in right here. And then from here, we're going to be putting this little dashboard. The main section we're going to be using is going to be this build section right here. So this is going to be building our agents, creating the knowledge base and menu and all the pricing tools as well, which is what we're going to be using to connect to make.com and all these other automation platforms to build our voice AI agent. And by the way, in this video, I'm going to be doing everything from scratch, step by step. I'm going to be building this out. I'm not going to be using any templates, so you can really see how to build these systems. So let's go ahead and go into agents. Let's create a new agent. Let's go blank agent right here. So again, let's give it a name. Let's do AI agent for Thai, and then we'll just put restaurant, right? For Thai restaurants right there. Let's go ahead and create the agent. So again, that name can be really anything. And then you're going to be put into this little section right here. This first little tab right here is the agent section. And then we've got the workflow, voice, and a few other things. We're going to be using some of these features, but the main section we're going to be using is going to be this agent section right here. So agent language, what is going to be the main language of our voice AI agent? Now, I'm just going to be having this selected to English, but of course, if your agent was in maybe, I don't know, Spanish, you might have it selected to Spanish. If your agent was in, Brazil, you might have it selected Portuguese, right? So again, make sure to select your main agent language right there, right? And then we'll have additional languages as well. So you can now attach additional languages to make your voice AI agent multilingual as well. So for example, you can add a bunch of different languages that now the AI agent will detect when someone is speaking that language and it will go ahead and switch over natively to that language right there, right? First message. This is going to be the first message of our AI agent right here. So for example, whenever someone calls the phone, this message is going to play every single time. So let's say, hello, this is Rachel. Rachel, we'll just do from Thai Fusion. Again, I'm just going to be making up a random Thai restaurant name right here. How may I help you, right? For example, that might be the first message that someone says right there. So you can see, awesome. So let's make that a capital. Awesome. Okay, so that's going to be the first message that the voice AI agent speaks. And then from there, we have the system prompt. So this system prompt is very, very important when we're designing these agents because essentially what this does is it's going to define how the agent should act, what type of task it's going to be doing, what does it need to say in the conversation. So the more detailed and the more concise and the better our prompt is, the better our voice AI agent is going to be. Now, for a restaurant, we're going to need to give it a role. So what is the role of our AI agent right here? And by the way, if you do want this completely free AI agent template with the prompt and all the workflows and everything I'm going to be using completely for free, go ahead and join my free school community right here. We've almost got 1,000 members here, 700 members, and they're all utilizing these free resources to get started building voice AI agents right there. So of course, if you do want this prompt, go ahead and join that free community down below in the link description. Without further ado, let's get into the role of the agent right here. So for example, we have the role. You are Rachel, an experienced restaurant receptionist at Infusion at Thai restaurant. That should say Fusion actually. Fusion at Thai restaurant. At Thai Fusion at a Thai restaurant, right? You are a experienced restaurant receptionist at Thai Fusion, a Thai restaurant. You have a friendly and bubbly personality and love to assist customers. So we can see we've given it a name, we've given it a role within the business, a receptionist, and then we've also given it a persona and a personality as well right there, right? So that's just going to be a quick role of our agent right there. And then from there, we have the current time. Now, this is very important. I like to put this at the top of the prompt because this is going to help the AI agent send those times for checking availability, send those times for booking appointments, and help overall sending those times as well. So this is going to be the current time right here. And by the way, if you are wondering what these little hashtags are throughout the prompt, that is called markdown format. It essentially puts these little letters right here in bold inside the LLM, and this enhances our prompt for our voice AI agents to make its responses more accurate. Sorry, right? And then from here we have the current time. So the current time is current system time zone, and this right here is what we call a dynamic variable. So for example, in my time zone right now, which I'm in Brisbane, it's going to be it's going to be put in ISO 861 format. So for essentially for your time zone, it'll be for your time zone right there. So for example, we're just referencing to the voice AI agent that this dynamic variable is the current time right now, and this is going to be used for checking availability, booking appointments, etc. Right? Use this current time when you are either checking availability or booking an appointment for that time. You must use this current time when you are checking availability or booking an appointment for the time. You when you are sending this time for any of the appointments, ensure that it is in an ISO 861 format. For example, year, month, date, and then that's the time as well for the seconds and hours, right? Where the offset is 10. So for example, for your country, you're going to need to change it for whatever your GMT time zone is. So, for example, if you're in Central Time in America, you need to change it for Central Time, which is going to be -5, right? So that's really important, and that's really what you want to do right there. So yeah, that's going to be this current time right here. So let's come down, and that's going to wrap that up again. I think we repeated this right here. Okay, awesome. That is now done. Of course, you can just paste this prompt in instantly. You'll get all of this. But I'm just running you through how everything works, right? And then from here, we have the next section, which is going to be for reservations. So example, let's put in our markdown format right here. So this is going to be the process that the AI agent is going to do for a reservation. And before we do that, I just want to add in a main task here. Let me come back to the prompt I've built. And let's put in the task right here. So for example, your task is to answer any customer questions about the restaurant if they would like to book a reservation or place an order for delivery or pickup, and follow these steps right here. So again, I'm going to be making a few changes to this prompt, but I built out most of this prompt so you can see how it really works, right? So now for a reservation, this is going to be the step. So ask them for the number of people and what time they would like to come in. Run the check availability function to check whether the requested time is available. You must use ISO 861 format here. If the time is outside of our operating hours, remind the customer of our hours and ask them to select another time, and then rerun check availability function again. You must use ISO 861 format. So for example, this is just prompt engineering, prompting the AI agent for different scenarios on what could happen, right? If the time is not available, tell them that. Then suggest alternative time slots based on the webhook response. So for example, we're going to be designing an automation later to automatically have a fallback process to check for more available slots within a calendar system, right? If the customer requests a different date, run the check availability function again. And once you have an available time slot, ask for their name, email, and special requests, and then run the book reservation function to book the reservation with the following inputs: name, email, time, and number of people. So for example, notes will just be anything they've specified related to the reservation. So this can be special requests, right? So let's just change this to special requests right there. And again, you must use ISO 861 format for this, right? So for example, prompting the agent to always use this format is very, very important when we're using check availability and booking appointments, right? Once the booking is confirmed, let the customer know that their reservation has been booked. Your ability to follow these steps and set appointments successfully is critical for the success of our business, so please do so diligently. So for example, that's going to be the process for a reservation. Next section we have is for an order, so either pickup or delivery. So this is going to be the process we use for an order. So ask them for the order if it is a pickup or delivery, and then ask them what they would like to order. Once you get their complete order, repeat it back to them and ask them to confirm. If it is correct, then proceed. If it's incorrect, ask them to repeat the order. So again, more prompt engineering to make sure we really get that order correct, right? Once you have the correct order confirmed, ask the caller for their name, and then ask the caller for the home address where we should deliver the food, and then this is for if delivery, right? Wait for the caller to respond and repeat the address properly. If the caller says the address is incorrect or mentioned wrong, repeat it again. So it's very similar to what we used up there. Again, making sure the address is correct to make sure that is, something that we can do, right? If the order is pickup, just ask for the name and order, and then repeat the entire order one more time to see if there's anything else they need to place before the order. Once the order is confirmed, run the place delivery order function if it is a delivery, or place pickup order function if it is a pickup. So again, this is going to cover our entire ordering process right here. And if we refer back to it, this prompt section is going to cover this entire thing, right? Awesome. So that's going to be for a pickup order as well. And then one final thing that we have in the prompt is going to be the goal. So what is going to be the main goal of our agent right here? So for example, we have the goal. Your main goal is to answer customer questions, book reservations, or place an order. So again, just reiterating the main goal of our voice AI agent helps it really define what it's supposed to be doing in the conversation. This is useful after we do all the tasks, right? So again, that's very important right there. Okay, now we have the goal. That's done. Section we have is going to be the specifics. So we're defining how the agent should specifically conduct the conversation, right? So let's go ahead and paste this in. By the way, of course, if you want this prompt, head over to my free resource hub right here. It'll be all in there for you to go ahead and paste. You can see right here, if the customer asks about the menu, provide specific examples of dishes for their reference. Make sure to capture information about the day of the booking as well. For example, is it tomorrow? Is it yesterday? Not just the time. Only let the customer know the availability of the requested time after calling the function, and only attempt to book a reservation after the customer's name, email, and special requests have been provided. So you can see, I'm not going to go too in depth to this section right here, but essentially you can see how we're prompt engineering it for different scenarios based on the context of the situation. So we can see right here, only attempt to book the reservation after the customer's name has been collected. So again, making sure the agent has to collect that information before it runs that book appointment tool. As we can see, refer to the knowledge base for any questions. Never assume any information if you can't find it. So again, we're just in-depthly prompting this agent as well. Of course, if you paste this in, it'll be right there as well. And then from here, also another section I want to add inside here, if we come back to here, is going to be the transfer. So we can see if we come back here, I'm actually going to write this one out. We'll do transfer to manager, for example. So use the transfer call tool to transfer any calls that a customer use the transfer tool to transfer any calls that is requested by the customer, right? Again, this is going to allow our agent to transfer any calls to a manager, right? And then we can also add in some other scenarios, right? So for example, use the transfer call tool if the customer wants to speak to a manager right there. So for example, you can keep on prompting this to whatever you'd like. But for example, it's going to transfer and use the tool call transfer to go ahead and transfer any calls to a manager, right? Under these scenarios. So you can go ahead and add more things. But that's just what I wanted to do for there. So now we really have everything from this chart. We have everything to go, and we just need to add some final touches onto our prompt. Okay, now we have the example conversation scenario. This is very important when we're letting the agent know what an example conversation may look like inside the business right here. So let's go ahead and put this in, and we can see we've got probably about 3 scenarios. We've got one for reservation right here. An example, I don't need to go too much in depth to this prompt, but we're giving an example on how an example conversation might go for a reservation. So we can see right here, we've got a script on how a conversation would go. So we can see it's calling the tools, it's giving its email right here, and it's doing all of that. So for example, that is what it would look like for a reservation script. And then from here, we have a delivery order. For example, you are, welcome to Infusion. How may I help you today? Customer, I would like to place an order. Again, just going down that route of placing a order at the moment. And then from there, we have a pickup order. So for example, welcome to Infusion. How may I help you today? And we've got the customer placing a pickup order. So we can see there's 2 main reasons for why we do this is to provide context and an example scenario to the agent to let it know how a conversation might go. And then also letting it know when it needs to run these place order functions and these functions right here. So again, those are the 2 main use cases and scenarios for that agent as well. And then finally, right here, we have the notes. So this is going to be the notes of the agent. Again, this is quite lengthy and quite in-depth, just to make sure we're always prompt engineering the agent to make sure that it is conversational right here. So again, so be professionally friendly, concise in your responses, use the customer's name, steer the conversation back on topic. As you can see, I don't need to go too in-depth to this. And then another important thing right here is we've got when you are sending off times for any of these appointments, ensure that it is in ISO 861 format right here. So again, that's very important as well. And then finally, we have the call conclusion. So how is the agent going to be ending the call? this is what it would look like right here. So for example, if it is an order, assure the caller that it is being processed and will be ready for pickup slash delivery as soon as possible. And then, for example, after that has, after the agent has confirmed that, it's just going to use the end call tool to go ahead and end the call. So again, giving the agent the ability to hang up the call is very, very useful when we're designing these agents to make sure we be very concise in the conversation, and also not waste too many minutes on the business's end as well, right? So that's going to be the core conclusion. And that's going to be it for the entire prompt. So you can see, just to recap, we've got the role, we've got the current time, we've got the task for reservation, we've got the task for an order, we've got the task for a transfer to manager, we've got the goal, specifics right here. We've got, for example, conversation for reservation, order, and then pickup order as well. And then we've got the notes and core conclusions. So that's just a quick summary of this prompt right here. But yeah, that's going to be everything we need for the prompt. We can go ahead and say that. Of course, you can just go ahead and paste this in right here, but that's just a guide, an in-depth guide on really what that prompt is doing for this voice agent. So again, very, very important, this prompt. And now we can continue to build out some of the automations on the back end. So let's come down, dynamic variables. We've only got one dynamic variable, which is going to be the system time zone up here to use for all those time formatting. LLM, we'll just go ahead and switch it to 4.1. I found that's the best for a lot of these things. Backup LLM will just leave as default. Temperature, that just essentially decides the creativeness of the LLM. If you have it down lower, it's going to stick more to the prompt, which is what we want. If you have it up higher, it's going to be more creative in its answers. You don't want that. So again, leave it at 0. That's fine. Agent knowledge base. This is where we're going to be giving the agent some of its knowledge. So if we come back here to the agent, we've got all of these different scenarios. We just need to give the agent some knowledge about the menu, about the pricing, about the opening hours. So if someone asks, what is the menu? What is the pricing? What is the opening hours? It can use this knowledge base to go ahead and help them, give that information right there. Okay, so for example, this is what an example knowledge base may look like right here. So you can see this is what the agent is going to be using to refer to within its conversation. So we can see about Thai Fusion. This is just an about section. Opening hours, menu, and prices right here. So we can see this is what the AI agent is going to be referring to when anyone asks any questions about the menu or any prices on the website, or etc. It's going to refer to this knowledge base right here, as we can see there. So we can see, let's go ahead and put this into our agent. We can click download. For example, this is just on a Word document. You can click download, come back over to here, and if we come down to knowledge base right there, then we can just go ahead and add in any files right here. So we can see, let's add in this file that we have, click add file, and now that's going to give our voice AI agent some knowledge to have access to. Perfect. So we have right there. Let's go ahead and click save. Our prompt is all good, ready to go. Now let's go ahead and add some tools. First tool we want to add is end call, right? That's a very simple, easy tool we can add to give the agent the ability to end the call. Okay, and then another tool we want is to transfer to a number. Let's go ahead and select that right here and add a description. This tool will be used to transfer to a human manager, right? So we can go ahead and add in some rules as well. So the first transfer is just going to be a conference. So the agent's going to call that number and it's just going to transfer it over, right? Then we can go ahead and add in a number. At the moment, I'm just going to add in, my number. For example, you can add in whatever number you want right there, and then just go ahead and click save, and we'll actually go ahead and save and everything. So we can see, I'm just going to add in my number at the moment. So that's going to be my number right there. And then we're going to go ahead and click save condition. We're going to add also a condition as well. As you can see, I'm not sure if you can see that. Yep, you can. So yeah, we're going to add in a condition as well. The agent will transfer to this number when requested by the customer, right? For example, you can really add in whatever type of condition you want. Right there. Okay, awesome. Let's go ahead and click save. So now that agent can end call and it can also transfer the number. And then all we have to do is we have to design these automations right here with inside our tool function as well. So we're going to be using 4 tool call automations right here with inside this section. Let's go ahead and add this. And we're going to add a webhook tool call right here. And the first one we want is going to be for this book reservation. So the first tool call we want is going to be a check availability to check the slots with inside the calendar right here. So let's come back and let's name it check availability right there. And this is going to be the description in which it's going to go into the LLM for the restaurant. So let's say this tool will be used to check the slots for the reservation that is requested um by the customer. Awesome. And then URL, we're going to switch this to post. And then what we want here is we want a webhook URL for our automation platform. So essentially what's going to be happening is it's going to be calling this check availability tool with the requested time, and it's going to need some information to send that to then go ahead and process that availability. So for example, I'm going to be using make.com in this example. This is going to be our software we're going to be using to run all these automations. So you can see, just open up a new scenario in make.com, go to make.com, sign up. It's completely for free. Create a new scenario, and this is where you will be right here. So the first thing that we want to do in this scenario is we want to add a webhook right here. So for example, this is going to be used to send that information from ElevenLabs all the way to make.com right here. So for example, custom webhook triggers when the mail hook receives data. Let's go ahead and click add, and let's do check availability. And then we'll just do ElevenLabs, right? So we know that it is from ElevenLabs. Sorry, I spelled that wrong. Ability. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and click save, and it's going to generate us a webhook URL right here. Let's go ahead and copy that. Come back to ElevenLabs, and we'll paste it in this URL section right here, right? Now, all that we need to do is let's put in some body parameters. So again, this is going to be collected by the LLM and sent as a body request to this webhook address right here. Let's go ahead and put in the description, this body parameter will be used to for the customer's information, for the customer's for the customer's requested time. Sorry, no information, that'll be later. Right there. Okay. And then from there, we're going to need to add in some of the properties. So for example, this is going to be a data type, which is going to be string, and then identifier is going to be the time right there. So again, requested time of the customer. Let's put this as we'll just do requested time for the customer right there. And then let's go ahead and add tool. We should be all good to go. Add tool, right? And now that we have that tool, let's go ahead and click save. Okay, now that we have this tool created, what I want to do is I want to put in some test data inside this make workflow so we can start building it out and mapping everything out, right? So let's go ahead and click run once up here. Make sure we've got that tool all saved right there. We're going to click test agent, and then we'll just say, can I book a reservation for tomorrow at 3 p.m., right? And then what it's going to do is it's going to, okay, so we just need 3 people. And then the agent is then going to send some data over here. We can see we have that data inside the webhook. Just make sure it's running. And now we can continue to build out our automation. Okay, awesome. So now once we have that test data in, the next node we want to have is going to be the calendar node. So whether you are connecting to a business's calendar by API, module inside make.com, you want to actually go ahead and connect to their calendar. And what this node is going to be doing, it's going to be checking for that slot due to that requested time that we have received from ElevenLabs. So what we're going to do is I'm going to select a Google Calendar node. Of course, if you're working with a business, you would either connect to their APIs or systems, and every calendar and every API and system is different. So in this example, I'm just going to be using Google Calendar because this can be used universally throughout, demos and different businesses, right? So of course, you want your calendar node right here. Make sure to connect to it via API and follow the documentation for that. But just because due to the fact that it can be different, I'm just going to be using Google Calendar. So let's get right into it. Then what we want to do is we want to search for get busy information right here. And then the minimum time is going to be this. And then the maximum time is we're just going to be adding on 60 minutes to this time. So let's come down to here. Let's do add minutes. And then in here, we're going to come back here. We're going to select the time. And then the minutes is just going to be 60. So essentially what it's doing is that minimum time is going to be that requested time that the customer has. And then that maximum time is going to be the time that the customer also requested, but it's just going to be adding on 60 minutes, right? So let's go ahead and click save right there. And then the calendar items, we're just going to do calendar ID. And then we're going to switch this to not map, and then we're going to put my calendar right there, right? And then what we want to do is we want to add a router. So we're going to add a router, and the reason why we're doing this is because if we so we're going to add a router right here, and the reason we're doing this is because we need to do two pathways, right? The first pathway is going to be checking availability for that time. Then the second pathway is going to be having a fallback process to then check for more slots within 24 hours. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to add a webhook. It's going to be a response webhook right here. And I'm just going to be pasting in this JSON file I've already got preloaded inside this workflow right there. Awesome. So we can see, don't worry about that tool call ID. That's used for VAPI. So just leave it. And then the result is just going to be this plain text right here. So great, the time slot you have selected is available. Let me go ahead and book that for you. So what it's doing is essentially if that time slot is available, it's going to come down at this webhook response. It's just going to respond to the customer. But in order to do that, we need to add a filter in here into Make. So we can set up a filter right here and we can name it available, right? So essentially what this is going to do, let's just change that. So essentially what this is going to do is it's going to check if this time is available by this filter. So how this filter is going to be set up is essentially what we need to do is we need to go ahead and add this filter in here. Let me just get up my template that I'm following. We need to add it as no, and then the condition is going to be using this node right here. It's going to come down, busy, and it's going to be start right here. So text operations, this is going to be does not exist. So if this does not exist, it's going to go down our next path. So go ahead and click save, and that's going to be setting up our filter right there. And then the next path, what we're going to do is we're going to search for more slots within that time slot requested, and we're going to get all the slots available within 24 hours. So to do that, we're going to add another Google Calendar node, and then we're going to do get free busy information again, just like we did back here. The minimum time is going to be this, but all we're doing now is we're just going to be adding on a day. So what we need to do is we need to come back to here. We need to do add hours right here, there, and then it's going to be come back here. It's going to be time here, and then we're just going to be adding 24 hours onto that. So very simple, coming down to calendar again, and then make sure we switch off that function, and then go ahead and click save. So what it's now going to do is it's going to search for more slots within 24 hours of that time zone. Now, because we are getting a lot of variables and we are potentially getting a lot of time within this Google Calendar, we're going to need to transform it to a JSON so it's easier for the AI to understand. Because essentially what's happening in the background is the output's going to be this big long line of text and all this text. So we're going to transform it into a JSON file, which is going to make it easier for the AI to understand, right? Let's go ahead and search JSON, and we're going to do transform to JSON, advanced settings, and then the ideation right here, you want it to be 4, right? And the object is we're just going to be using that same busy information that we have back here. We're going to bang, and then we're just going to go start, right? That's all that is doing in that JSON file right there. Okay, awesome. Just making sure everything is good. Okay, click save. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to add in a ChatGPT node. So search ChatGPT up here. And then we're going to do, we need to do create a chat completion. And then essentially what is going to be happening in here is we're going to be getting all of the times that we have from this Google Calendar node, and we're going to be converting it to GMT plus 10. So right here, make sure the method is create a chat completion using GBT and O1 models. The model right here we want to use is going to be 4.0 mini. This is going to be, again, we just need a lightweight model that can do these tasks. Messages, we're going to add messages, developer system, and then the text content, I'm just going to be pasting this in from my template because it'll just take too long to write out. So again, the text content, this is going to be our prompt essentially. Your role is to convert the provided times from UTC to GMT plus 10. You must only provide the output in these converted times. Please no notes, right? So again, that's going to be our text content. Then we're going to add another message, which is going to be the user. And then we're going to do here is the times. And then we'll just put here, which is going to be that JSON string, I believe. Yep. Awesome. All right. And then the output, we'll just use this as 1,000. Just set that as 1,000. Click save, right? Then we're going to go ahead and name this. So again, this is just convert UTC to GMT plus 10, right? Awesome. Click save. Okay. That is all good. And then a key thing here is make sure you change it to your time zone. So if you're in Central Time, change it to maybe like -5, I believe, or whatever GMT plus time zone you're in. You need to make sure you change that, right? Go ahead and click save. And then what we want to do is we want to suggest more time. So we need to add in another ChatGPT completion model right here. Here it is. All right. So we're going to wait for this to load. And then the model is going to be 4.0 mini again, which is going to be that. Make sure you use 4.0 mini. And then the messages, again, pretty simple, developer system. So now the real purpose of this node is what we want to be doing is we want to be getting more time slots. So what it's going to be doing is it's going to be comparing that book time slot that we know is unavailable, and then it's going to be comparing all the available time slots within the calendar using this node back here. And then from there, it's going to be creating and searching for only 3 new time slots within that day. So that's all that it is essentially going on right now inside this, workflow. Again, I'm just pasting this in. So you can see, of course, if you do download it, it will be available. So we can see right here, this is our prompt. Please recommend 3 alternative 60-minute time slots and strictly follow the rules. Here are all the available times in the day that are not available. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to put in that time because we know that time is not available because it hasn't passed through that filter, right? That's awesome. All right, and then from here, we're going to add in number 2, which is going to be, here is the time that they tried to book in, right? So again, we're putting in that time again. And then now we're going to give the AI the current time so then it can suggest more time slots, right? Come in here so we can see this is the current time. You must ensure that it is not earlier than this time. And then also here is the time slot. So again, it's just converting that time into Australia/Brisbane. So in this case, if you are in America, do America/Chicago or whatever time zone you are in, make sure you change that as well, right? And then here we also have an opportunity to add in some opening hours for the business. So we can actually prompt the AI using the current date and time inside make.com to make sure it doesn't go outside the opening hours, right? And we can put, here is the hours for the business. And then we can just do 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., right? Whatever you want to put here. Again, you can customize this on the restaurant, right? Sorry. You must not book any you must not suggest any time, sorry. You must not times outside of these hours, right? Right, you must not suggest any times outside these hours. Awesome. And then we can see that's going to be our last step for that. And then we can see now we can prompt the agent to suggest more time slots. So please recommend 3 times that would be available for booking. Output the times as you are speaking to a person. And then you must ensure that these times are available within the calendar, right? Awesome. Follow these instructions above closely. So that's going to be our prompt right here for the developer system. Actually, no, that is actually going to be user. That's my bad. Let's copy and paste that and come back. We're going to add this in. This is going to be for our user. Sorry, that's going to be for our user. And then the text system is going to be this, right? This is going to be this. Your role is to output the alternative time slots that a user can book in for. You must not output the result in JSON. Do not output any notes in text. So that's going to be our text content, sorry, for the developer system. So yeah, that's going to be all good. Let's rename this. And all this is doing is create new slots, right? Awesome. Okay. Now we're almost done. Now all that we need to do is we need to suggest and create a new message for the customer, right? So after it has, decided on the slots, we're now going to be using AI again and ChatGPT again to go ahead and keep messing this up. Okay, create chat completion. And then now what we need to do is we need to suggest more times in like a conversational way, right? So let's come back to GPT 4.0 mini right here. And again, I'm just going to be pasting in this because it's just a lot easier. Messages, developer system. The user has just remembered time slots that they can book in for. Your role is to clearly communicate these time slots. Here's an example output. Please be concise. Again, just providing some general information. And then from here, we're going to use user. And then the text content is going to be here are the slots right here that has been decided. And then all we can do is we can just put the choices and then it's going to be message. So from there, right? So that's going to be the ChatGPT decided time slots from that previous module, right? Let's go ahead and rename this. Create message for the customer. Okay, awesome. So now that we have created those two kind of modules right there, we need to add in a webhook response. So webhook create response to webhook body, and I'm just going to be pasting this in. And then what you want to do is you want to grab in this choice message from that previous thing. So now ChatGPT has generated a conversational message, and we can use that as the content right there and click save. So now our automation for check availability is done. So just to recap, this is what has been happening, right? It's triggered off that webhook, it's gotten and it's checked if that initial time has been available. If it has been available, it'll go down and respond to the customer. And then if it's not available, it'll check for more time slots within 24 hours, transforming all of those time slots to JSON to clean it up, converting all of those times to GMT plus 10, and then it's going to essentially compare that book time slot and all the other time slots and only suggest 3 within here, right? And also the opening hours. And then from there, it's going to create a message. And then from there, it's going to respond to the customer, right? Again, make sure we have 40 mini in here. We don't want any expensive models. Okay, awesome. So now that automation is all good to go, and we can go ahead and save that. So let's actually go ahead and come back. I'm going to run this again, and we can come back to ElevenLabs. Let's test it to see if it actually works before we go ahead and do a final test. So hello, is 3 p.m. tomorrow for 3 people available, right? And we can see tomorrow, awesome. So let's actually go to our calendar and let's move this down. I'm going to move this down so we can see if it actually does work, and it does suggest more times, right? Let's go ahead and let's come back. Put some time. Awesome. Comes down that second time slot. Creating completion, and then just response to the customer. So we can see, unfortunately, we don't have availability for 3 p.m. tomorrow. So I don't know why that is actually suggested that twice. Okay, it might have run it twice. Let's just see if we can try that again. I don't know why we have 2 messages, but we can see it does work. Let's see if we can test this. Try again. I'm not sure why we have 2 messages. Maybe it's done 2 webhook responses. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, just to confirm, you like check it right now. Okay, yeah. So it had 2, but we can see it did actually work. We can even go ahead and change it. Okay, awesome. So yeah, that actually works. I just want to confirm why, there was 2 messages up the top, but it's fine. So yeah, that automation will work now. So we can go ahead and save that at the moment. And what we can do is we can do as soon as data arrives, we're going to click save. I'm going to come back up to the top and make sure this is switched on. So now this is going to run each time that tool call is called, right? We don't need to click it manually anymore. So let's go ahead and name this. I'm going to go up to, we're going to go check for reservation, right? Okay, so that automation now works. So awesome. So now let's come back and let's design the next tool for our AI agent, which is going to be a book appointment tool. So that automation was probably the most complex automation we're going to build. All we need to do is build the book appointment tool. If we come back here, we're just going to need to build the book appointment tool. We see we're going to need to run that book appointment tool. We're going to be asking for some of those time slots as well. And then we just need to build the delivery order and pickup order as well, right? So let's come back. We know that's saved. And now what we want to do is we want to open up a new scenario in make.com. I'm going to add a new webhook, custom webhook, just like we did before. And then from here, I'm just going to click add, and then we'll do book reservation, and then we'll just do ElevenLabs up here. Reservation, awesome. Okay, click save. Now let's come back to ElevenLabs and let's create a new webhook tool, right? Let's name this book reservation up here. The description is to book the reservation on the business calendar. That's going to be the description. Method, we'll switch this to post. Come back here. Let's get our webhook, copy that, come back and paste it in. So very similar like we did to the check availability, but the thing that's going to be different is going to be the body parameters. So this body parameter will be used to collect the information for the customers. Right? Awesome. This body parameter will be used to collect the information for the customer's booking, right? data type. Now, if we come back to our workflow, we can see what information it's going to need to collect. So we're going to need, so we already have the number of people and the time they would like to come in. So let's go ahead and add that in to the transcript because it already knows that that is the information. So let's come back and add this in. So let's do time. This is going to be the confirmed time, right? So this is different than the requested availability time. This is going to be the confirmed time, right? The confirmed time for the reservation for the customer, right? Again, that's going to be the confirmed time. And then let's add another property. We're going to do this, and then we're going to do number of people, right? The number of people for the reservation, right? Awesome. Number of people for the reservation. And then we're going to add another property. So let's see what we need, right? So we're going to need the name, email, and special requests, right? So we're going to do name, the full name of awesome. And then we're going to need special requests, right? So this is any special requests, birthdays, dietary requirements, anything like that, right? Okay, awesome. And then any notes slash special request for customer, right? Awesome. Okay, so we have everything we need, and then we're also going to need the email as well, right? So again, email. Awesome. Okay. All right, sweet. So that has everything we need, I believe. So yeah, that's going to be everything we have right there. Let's go ahead and add that tool and book reservation. So now let's do the exact same thing. Let's come back to here. Let's run this webhook. And then we're going to come back to ElevenLabs, make sure that's all saved in here. We're going to test the agent. We're going to switch it to chat mode. Let's also, that will run automatically. Now let's put some test data in. All right. So it's going to ask for check availability. Do you have tomorrow at 5 p.m. for 3 people, right? It's quickly doing this so we can get some data in. It's going to check that. So for example, we do have availability. We can see now that automation is working. We've confirmed that. And then let's do name and email. So we'll do Ashton Voss. So this is going to be the data that's going to be sent in. Ashton, that's my email. And then, well, what else do we need? Okay, so we'll just do, we have a birthday, right? Birthday. We have a birthday also, right? Okay, so make sure this is running. Awesome. Thank you, Ashton. I've got your email. I'll know that you should do. Okay, awesome. So we can see now that data has been come in with this automation. So we can now continue to build out this second automation, which is going to be the book appointment automation, right? So let's come in and add another node. So this node is just going to be creating an event in a calendar. So it's very simple. We're going to search Google Calendar right here. Of course, in the business's perspective, you're going to have to use and look at their API documentation, as I said before, and look of how to create a booking inside that calendar. But for this example, I'm just going to be using Google Calendar. So I'm going to use create new event, right? My calendar ID is up there. Make sure this is in detail, which is what we're going to need. Calendar ID is just going to be my email. And then the event name, we can really name this for whatever we want. So for example, we can do new reservation for right? And then we can put the name, right? So new reservation for Ashton Voss. And we might want to do at time, right? We can do at the time. So you can see how we can customize this data, right? The start date will just be that time right there that we have. That's going to be the start date. And then the end date, we're going to be doing the same thing. So we're just going to be adding on 60 minutes, right? So if we come back to the previous automation, let's just grab what we already have. So we need to paste it in, right? We're just going to be doing this exact same thing that we have right here. Come back, and I'm going to be pasting it in. So again, that's just going to be adding on 60 minutes to get the end date, right? Duration is going to be 1 hour. Okay, awesome. Actually, no, we don't even need this, right? Because this is going to be adding on 1 hour automatically. So we actually don't even need that end date, right? And then we're going to switch on advanced settings. So again, description. This is going to be what is going into the description of the calendar. So now let's put in name, right? And the name. So again, we're just going to be mapping all this data into it. Email, number of people. So again, this can be customized to whatever information the business needs for the booking. And then we'll do time. Again, we're just going to put all this information in. So this can really be whatever you want. And then we'll just put notes, right? So any special requests, birthday celebration, right? Location, we'll leave that. Use default reminders empty. And then attendees, we're going to be wanting to add in the attendees. So for example, we could just add maybe, my email right there. So that's going to be name actually. Name and then email. Awesome. And then that should be all good. We don't need any Google conferencing notes. Notify everything. Okay. So we have everything we need up here. You can just select the color. Just double checking everything. Yeah, so you can even add reminders as well if you want. You can add that in, but we'll just leave that for now. Let's go ahead and click save, all right? Awesome. So now we have a create event calendar. Now, something that I also want to add in is we can also add in like confirmation emails and confirmation SMSs after the booking. So to do that, there is really two main ways we can do that. So for example, let's say we wanted to add in maybe a confirmation email to the customer, right? We can actually go ahead and do this. Let's search Gmail node, right? Come to Gmail and we can do send a new email, right? So because we have that email of the customer that we've collected, we can send a confirmation email about their booking. So for example, we could do create connection. And again, you can just sign in with Google right here. This is what I'm going to do. Okay, so now that you have signed in with Google, we can actually go ahead and obviously add your connection. We can actually customize this email. So the to is going to be that customer email we have right here, which is going to be the email. And then the subject, we can do reservation confirmation for, then we can just do, again, you can customize this at time, right? And then we'll do body contents, which is just going to be text, subject. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and come out. Okay, guys, and as I'm editing this video, I just realized that this module is actually configured wrong. What you have to do in here is that this body type has to be collection of content right here. And then instead of putting it to mapped, switch it off and then put this text inside the content of this text file right here. The reason why I've done this is because Gmail just changed its API module, so it's configured a little bit different. So this is how you have to do it from now on. So just make sure when you're creating any other Gmail nodes, this is what it's going to look like. So I'm going to put this in here for pickup order and then delivery, just so you make sure and everything works. So yeah, and then all that we need to do is here, let's add in a webhook. So again, let's add a response webhook that we need. Let me just go ahead and grab a response body, and then we can just do, let's just do, okay. Let's add in a response body right here. And then obviously I'm just going to be pasting in that response body we have. And then we can say, we'll just do this. Result is great. Great. Your booking. Your reservation has been successfully booked. We'll just do that, right? So for example, whatever result you want, whatever message you want the AI to receive, so that this is going to be going into ElevenLabs, the response webhook, customize that for whatever you want, right? So now this is going to be our book reservation one done. So book reservation. Awesome. Now all we need to do is we've got two more to do. I'm just trying to do this quickly, guys. So yeah, book reservation, that is going to be all done. Save, right? And now we can switch this to immediately as data arrives. Come back here and let's make sure that's on. So now we have both of these automations all built. That's going to be all good, good to go. And now let's go ahead and design the last two automations. If we come back here, we're going to need the AI to do two more automations, which is delivery order and then pickup order as well. So let's come back to ElevenLabs. Let's come back to here and let's add in two more tool variables. Come back to here, add tool. We're going to add in another webhook tool, right? So very, very similar. Let's come back to make. Let's get in this webhook, receive data, add whatever you want. You should be getting the hang of it by now. And then we'll just do like pickup order, right? Again, this is going to be collecting some of the information we have over here. And then let's name this pick up order. Put this. This tool will be used to process a pick up order for the customer. Right. For the customer. All right. Awesome. So again, make sure we post that, URL right there. You should be getting the hang of it. And then we're going to do the same thing, right? We're going to add in the body parameters. So again, this body parameter will be used to collect information about the pick. Awesome. And then what we will need is we're going to need the order of the customer. So again, order, the order of the customer. Come back here. What else are we going to need? So you can see how this Figma file is really useful. So we can map out everything. Then we're going to need the name as well. That's all we're going to need really. Name as well. And yeah, that's going to be really everything we need to do. Name, order. Okay. Right. And then if we want, we can even add some like contact information maybe. So what I'm going to do quickly, just so it's useful, let's add in like an email, right? So for example, let's say you want to send out an SMS, you could ask for their number, or maybe you want to send out an email to the customer, you could ask for their email, right? So let's just add in also email as well, the email of the customer, right? So it's going to select all that. So at least we have some contact information. If you want it to do number, you can, but I'm just going to be using email. Awesome. So yeah, that's going to be all good. Let's add that tool right there. And let's also go into our prompt as well. And for a order, ask for the name. Let's also just ask the home address. Also ask for the caller for their name. And then we'll just do an email, right? I'll just add that in there. And then we'll just click proceed. Okay, so now we have that pickup order done. And again, let's get some test information. Again, pretty self-explanatory, just like we're doing before. Come back here. Pick up order. Okay, what do you like to pick up? And we'll just do like one pad Thai. And that's going to ask for our name. Just confirm that's one pad Thai. So again, it's just confirming, just like we prompted it. No. Ashton Voss, and then we'll just do our email again right there. Let's come back to this webhook, I believe. Let's trigger it. Let's get some test data in again, right? Let's send this. Again, it's going to receive it. Awesome. Right now we can build out this automation. So, for example, maybe a customer gets a order inside their reservation system. So there's two things that you can really do here. You can either connect to the business's calendar, again, by HTTP request, Again, we can do it by HTTP request. So again, this just allows us to make API requests. So again, this is going to be universal for each and any other restaurant. But for this example, I might just send an internal notification to the customers, right? So let's just say, let's send a Gmail, right? Let's send a Gmail to the customer. Actually, no, let's do SMS so you can understand how SMS works as well. So for example, let's add a Twilio node right here. Twilio. And then we're going to do send a message as well. So you're going to need to have a Twilio number and you're going to need to connect it right here. So you can add a Twilio number. You're going to need your SID ID and an authentication token. Now, I'm not going to go too in depth on how to actually create a Twilio number. It is very, very simple though. Just sign up to Twilio, create a number, buy a number. I will actually leave a link and a guide down below in the link description so you can actually sign up to Twilio number. But I thought it'd be useful to go ahead and build out a Twilio type of integration as well, so you can see how it works, right? And then from there, make sure you buy a number with SMS capabilities, and you just need your SID account ID and your authentication token. It's very, very simple. Again, I don't want to take up too much time showing you how to do that. If you do want to, have a Twilio tutorial or Twilio connection, let me know down below in the comments below. But I've already got a Twilio account, so I'm just going to be using my Twilio account right there, right? And then send message from. This is going to be the number that we have right here. It's going to be phone number, right? And then your phone number is going to be popping up right here. That's going to be my phone number that I have. And then the to variable will just be to the business's internal notification system. So for example, I'm just going to be adding my phone number right here. Awesome. So make sure you do have the country code format as well. And then we can do message body, and then we'll do create body as well. So for example, this will be going to the restaurant, notifying them maybe by SMS that they have a new system. Of course, if the restaurant has a system where it alerts them for new orders, you would try and obviously do that first. But for this example, I'm just going to be using a SMS as well, right? So body, we can do this as the body. So we can say this is going to the customer, right? This is going to the restaurant. So we can say hello Thai Fusion, which is what it is. Again, I'm just trying to do this quickly. Hello Thai Fusion. You have a new pick. You have a new pick up order for a customer, right? And then we'll just do name. Come back here, Ashton Voss, and then order, pad Thai, and then we'll just do email or like contact, right? Again, you can change this. If you want to ask for the number, just ask for the number, change it in the prompt, and then you can add it right there. But we'll just do email right there, all right? So again, this is going to the customer, right? To their static number using that. Make sure it's in +61 format. So I thought it's useful to show you how you can use SMS capabilities as well. But if you want me to give a better tutorial on how to connect Twilio, I can also do that. But I thought we'll just cut that out. It's very, very simple. But yeah. So yeah, that's going to be all that we can do. And then we can even obviously create another Gmail message as well. Let's just create a Gmail message and let's do send a new email because we had that customer's email. We can just do a new order confirmation, right? New order. We'll just do order confirmation for, and we'll do this. So you can see really how we can do everything right here. What else are we gonna need? Yeah, we're gonna map it. New order confirmation for Ashton Voss, and then we can say hello. This is a confirmation email for your order at Thai Fusion, right? And then we can just put some of the orders in, right? So whatever you want to do, right? And then thanks for choosing us, right? Yeah, that's going to be the email sent to the customer, right? And then 2, we'll need to make sure we add the email up there. Awesome. Let's go ahead and click save. And again, let's add in that webhook response, body format. And then this is going to be going back to the agent right here. Again, telling the agent that the booking has, or the order has been processed. The order has been successfully placed. We will see you soon for pickup, right? Again, I'm just pasting in this body format right here, and I'm just placing it in, right? Awesome. Okay, so this is all done. Let's name it for pickup, and then we just have one more thing and one more automation to do, which is going to be the exact same, but it's just going to be collecting a delivery address, right? So let's do pick up order. Awesome. And let's do as immediately arrives. Save. Come back out here. Click save changes. And then that is all good to go. So now we have these 3 automations. We've got the check availability. We've got the book reservation. We've got the pickup order. Now we just need the final automation, which is going to be the book reservation. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to come back to ElevenLabs. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to come down to tools, add a tool, webhook tool. We're going to come back to a new make scenario. Again, you should be getting the hang of it. Pretty repetitive at the moment. We're going to add it in, and then we'll just do delivery order. Save. Let's get this webhook right here. Going to paste it in. And then we'll do delivery order, right? All right, awesome. Okay, awesome. This tool will be used for the delivery order for the customer. Okay. Now let's come back. Body parameter. Again, the same thing. Pretty repetitive right here, but this body parameter will be used to place, will be used to collect. Will be used to collect information for delivery, right? Okay. Awesome. And then what we're going to need is we're going to need the name, of course. Also have the order. And then we're going to need the address, right? Okay. And then we're also going to need, what do we need? The email as well, I believe. Yep. Right. Awesome. So again, we're going to add this tool. And again, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to run this tool. We're going to ask the agent to go ahead and do another delivery order. That mode start. And then we're going to do delivery order 1 pad Thai. And then we're just going to be giving it our name. That's just giving it the information it needs. Yes. Again, just making sure the information is correct. And boom, we have that information right here. So now we can just go ahead and do the exact same thing. But what I'm going to do to make this easier is I'm just going to copy and paste these modules over and it just automatically connect, right? Because we're just using the same thing, but we just need to map in that delivery order address, right? Rather than building everything out. And then we'll just come back and delete. So again, you can do the same thing if you want to build everything out. Yep. So we need to duplicate. I don't think we can clone this actually. Yeah, we can't clone it because it is a separate webhook response. And then for the webhook response, we'll just add it in as well. And let's come back and customize everything, right? So create Twilio message. Again, it's going to the same thing, but we'll just do hello. You have a new delivery order, right? You have a new delivery order. Again, I'm just trying to do this quickly. You have a new delivery order for a customer, right? The name, email, again, right there, and then we'll just do order, right? So the order is going to be that, and then we'll put address right here. Address will be this delivery address. Okay, awesome. So again, that's going to be the SMS that's going to there, and then the Gmail connection. Okay, so it didn't actually collect the email. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back to the system prompt for order. Okay. Again, we just need to add this in. I'm going to go ahead and add into the system prompt to collect an email as well. And then I'll get back to you, right? All that I've done is I've just prompted it inside this order section to just make sure to ask for a name and email for both pickup and delivery. And then what I've also done in the example scripts is I've just provided it for both email and name as well. So again, you'll get the complete thing after we're built and tested everything. Again, I wanted to give more of a raw step-by-step build on what I actually do to build these things rather than just providing the templates, right? So you can really see how everything goes on. Okay, so we have everything now. Again, that will auto-populate because now we've added in the AI to collect the name. And then from there, our webhook response is just going to be something very similar. So again, I'm just going to be pasting in that JSON we already have. And then the result up here, actually, let's go back to the pickup order. And let's just put in this right here. What has been saved with pace. We will see you soon for delivery. Again, we'll just modify this for delivery. Awesome. Okay, so now everything is done, right? Let's go ahead and save this immediately as data arrives. So now we have built everything successfully, right? We've gone ahead and we come back to here. We've built the delivery, we've built the pickup, we've built the book reservation, transfer, and menu pricing as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to test all of these scenarios for this voice AI agent receptionist. And yeah, we're going to see if everything works as it's supposed to do. So let's go ahead, come back into ElevenLabs, and then let's go ahead and test everything.
Hello, this is Rachel from Thai Fusion. How may I help you?
Hey, how you on, Rachel? Look, I'd just like to book a reservation for tomorrow for 3 people at 5 p.m. Do you have any availability?
Let me quickly check if we have a table available for 3 people at 5 p.m. tomorrow. We do have availability for 3 people at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Can I please have your name and email to finalize the booking? Also, do you have any special requests for your reservation?
Yeah, sure. My name is Ashton Voss, and then my email is ashton123@gmail.com. And then it is my sibling's birthday. So yeah.
Your reservation for 3 people at 5 p.m. tomorrow is all set, Ashton. I've noted that it's your sibling's birthday, so we'll make it extra special. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Yeah, actually, I just want to place a delivery order as well, please. Could you please do that?
Of course. Would you like your delivery order to go to the same address as your reservation, or is it a different address? And what would you like to order today?
Yeah, so just be one pad thai and one spring roll, and then the address would be 123 Main Drive.
Just to confirm, your delivery order is 1 pad thai and 1 spring roll, and the address is 123 Main Drive. Is that correct? If so, could you please confirm your email for the delivery order as well?
Yeah, it's Ashton Voss 47@gmail.com.
Thank you, Ashton. So your delivery order is 1 pad thai and 1 spring roll to be delivered to 123 Main Drive, and your email is ashtonvoss47@gmail.com. Is everything correct, or would you like to add anything else before I place your order?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Your delivery order has been placed and will be on.
Awesome. And then we can see I've just got a SMS right here. So we can see that I've got both that email and SMS that has just been triggered on my phone right there. So yeah, awesome. So now you can see how that agent will fully work. It'll place delivery orders, place pickup orders, book appointments, and then also check reservations, right? I'm not sure, the voice lagged out a little bit, but yeah, you can see that's how you can build these voice AI agents on make.com and 11 Labs that is able to place delivery orders, pick up orders, book appointments, and then also check reservations as well. So if you are a business owner and you are looking for a solution built for you, all done for you, custom to your business, feel free to book a free discovery call down below in the link description. And if you are someone that's just learning these voice agents, I've just got a free school community that you can actually go ahead and join. You'll get all these templates, free resources, everything. So make sure to go ahead and join that completely for free down below in the link description. But without further ado, I'll see you in the next video, and thank you.